Hi, friend. Well, I have a question for you today. Have you ever had a dream or a goal and something you really wanted to do, but you let doubt and fear stop you from doing it? I know I have. There's been several things like that in my life. A couple of really important things, though, have been writing a book and taking care of my health. For years and years, I had this story about my childhood that I wanted to write about, and I would kind of start, but I would feel like, oh, I'm not a good enough writer. And is this story really important? Who's going to want to read this? All of that doubt and fear and feeling like I'm not enough. I'm not good enough to write a book. But I actually started. I had the help of a friend and I started, and my book came out. So that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. So I'm Kathy Weens from Kathy Weens Coaching. Thank you so much for being here. Now, today I have a poem that I'm going to share with you, and I'm going to talk a little bit about that poem and then stick with me to the very end because I have 2 action steps of things you can do for you to get started on those dreams or those goals, the things that you've been wanting to do for years, but you just haven't been able to get over that fear and that doubt and, feeling like I'm not enough. Okay, so we often will wait, for the right moment to begin. That right moment is like when fear subsides and I'm very confident, when everything is perfectly in place. But the truth is, waiting does not move us along, it only gets us stuck. If we want to achieve our goals and our dreams, we must embrace the power of simply starting. It's a simple concept, but hard to wrap our minds around and really do that, okay? And today, like I said, I'm going to share a poem with you that really helped me. So another big thing in my life that I did was to start a Possibilities Healing Art Studio. Now, I did that right when the pandemic started, so it was kind of rocky, but that was something that really helped me to start my coaching practice. And when I started the studio, so this was a physical studio that was going to, I could do my coaching out of it. We would have other classes, do art there, many different things. Now, that did not work out, but it did help me as I started my coaching journey. And when I started the studio, I found this poem, and it really helped me to push me along. So I'm going to share that poem with you right now. I'm just going to read it. So, start now. Start where you are. Start with the fear. Start with the pain. Start with doubt. Start with hands shaking and start with voice trembling, but start. Start and don't stop. Start where you are and with what you have. Just start. So this was a really powerful poem for me that helped to propel me, and I continue to use it as I start other journeys in my life. Now, I am going to put a link below. If you would like a copy of that poem, you can get it from the link below. Okay, so now we're going to break that poem down a little bit. So let's begin with start where you are. It is easy to believe that we need to be more prepared, more skilled, more confident before we begin. But the truth is, and this is a powerful truth, that you grow by doing. Any expert that is now seen as an expert started out as a beginner, but they dared to start. So whatever your dream is it starting a business, writing a book, maybe getting your house decluttered or getting healthy in your body? There is no perfect point other than right now. Right now is the time to start. And also, like the poem says, we need to start with the fear and with the doubt. Fear and doubt don't mean that you're not ready. It only means that you're human. Everybody feels that way, and it's okay. You don't have to wait for the fear to disappear before you take action. Courage isn't about the absence of fear. It's about moving forward despite the fear. So, it's okay that you're afraid and that you feel doubt. Again, that's human. But we can normalize that and we can say, yeah, that's how it's going to be if I want to start something new. And you know what? The bigger the project, I think the bigger the fear is going to be. So also remember that. And again, normalize that. Say, this is the way it is when I want to start a big new project. I'm going to feel fear and doubt, and that's okay. And we also need to start with just what we have. We don't have to have it all figured out. We don't need to have the best resources or the perfect plan or guarantee of success, because the reality is there's never a guarantee of success, no matter who you are or what you do. But you just need to use what you have, what is available to you right now. So you have your time, you have your passion, you have your determination. Progress is made step by step, not all at once. And a really good definition for how we can make progress is that we take small steps consistently over time. So we take small, actionable steps and do that consistently, and over time, that will create major progress. Now, I've stopped this video because I want to share something really important with you. But first, I have a question. So, do you ever find yourself suppressing emotions in order to keep the peace? You're really feeling something, a strong emotion, but feel like I shouldn't express that because I don't want to cause conflict, I don't want to make anyone angry, so I'll just suppress that to keep the peace. Do you ever do that? Or do you ever have a strong emotion, but you don't say it because you feel like, oh, I need to stuff that down. I need to stay strong, work through it. I don't need to feel this emotion. Do you ever do that? Well, if you do, then the class we have in March, Honor Your Emotions, may be just right for you. This is going to be a fun and interactive class. We'll have lots of discussions and activities to do, and so I hope you can join us. This class will be held on Monday, March 24 at 7 p.m. Central Time, and it's going to be live on Zoom. Now, if you're interested and you want to sign up or you just want to learn more about it, you can scan the QR code that's right there on the screen, or I will leave the link in the description for this video. And then the last thing that this poem encourages us to do is to start and don't stop. The hardest part really of any journey is beginning. But once you take that first step, then the other ones will become easier, because action creates momentum and momentum creates progress. And you know what? Along the way, you will stumble. That will happen. That's just life. That's the way it is. But when that happens, don't let that stop you. Don't let that discourage you to the point where, again, you let that fear and that doubt come in. But even if you stumble, even if the path isn't clear, keep going. Growth happens in the process, not in the waiting. That's powerful. It's only when we take action will growth happen. If we just continue to think about something and dream about it and hope one day we will do it, that's not going to make it happen. We need to take action. That's what will make it happen. So whatever is on your heart, whatever dream or goal or chance that you're longing to take the first step today. No matter how big or how small, no matter how uncertain, just start. Start and don't stop. Okay? And like I told you, staying till the end, I have 2 action steps that I'm going to share with you about how you can start and continue to go. These are just little things, little exercises that you can do to maybe help you start today. Okay, so this first action step is one that I use a lot. And we're calling it the 5-minute action challenge. And so all you do is just set a timer for 5 minutes. Who doesn't have 5 minutes to get something going? That's not a lot of time. So you set your timer for 5 minutes, and then you just take one small action step towards your goal. So think about if you want to write a book. Well, you could sit down for 5 minutes and do a rough outline, or maybe write the blurb or the synopsis of what you want to do. If you want to get healthier, you could just do some stretches or maybe prepare a healthy snack. The goal is to break through the inertia and to prove to yourself that starting is possible. And you can do it. You can start. And you know what I have learned is that if I set that timer for 5 minutes, again, everybody has 5 minutes to start doing something. You'll often want to stick with it longer. So if you feel stuck and you can't get started, try the 5-minute action challenge. It might be just what you need. Okay, so the next action step that we're going to talk about is how do we reframe fear? That's a big one because I think fear is often the thing that stops us. When fear arises, instead of seeing it as a stop sign, this is how we're going to reframe it. We can see it as proof that we're stepping out of our comfort zone, which means that you're growing. And so some things that you could do when you feel that fear and that fear is stopping you from starting. So to overcome that fear, to reframe it, you could think about, what am I afraid of? Really, what is it? Dig deep to figure that out, because the surface thing that comes up may not be the deeper issue. So I would encourage you to stick with that and try to figure out what you really are afraid of. And then think about, if you did do this action, if you did achieve this goal that you want, what would be the worst thing that could happen? Okay? And then the next question is, what would be the best thing that could happen? And oftentimes when we think about especially that worst case scenario, when we actually verbalize that, either write it down, tell it to someone, or just think about it in our minds, we realize that, that's probably not actually going to happen. We realize that the worst case scenario isn't as bad as our mind has made it seem like. Okay? Okay, and so a way that someone that I know personally that has reframed fear. So this person is a writer. And instead of feeling like rejections are, we fear those rejections because the rejections, I know for me as a writer, it can feel like rejections mean I'm not good enough. Why am I sending this stuff out? Nobody wants to see it. I just keep getting these rejections. But what this person did is he reframed that fear, kind of turned it around, and he said, you know what? I know I'm going to get rejections. His writing, my writing, it's not for everyone. And so that rejection is going to happen. But what he decided is he was going to have a goal of getting 100 rejections for the year. And so instead of rejections being a fear, it actually became a goal for him. And that kind of turned that around. And what I tell this person, I say to them is that, well, why you keep getting rejected. And they kind of look at me like, oh, she's going to tell me I'm a bad writer. But the reality is the rejections come because this person keeps sending stuff out. And that is a really good thing. That's a really good thing to move them along towards their goal of writing. Okay, that's all I have for today. I hope this is helpful. Again, I'm going to put a link to the poem, the start poem. My phone's going off, sorry. I'll put a link to the start poem in the description. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, a like, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and remember to share it. If you think this will help someone else, please share it with them. All right. Thanks so much for being here today. Bye-bye.